Okay, welcome to another weekly email about the E100 series. In this video, we're going to introduce Unit 13. Now, as we do, I just want to remind you, this plan is for you to operate at your own pace. So if you're reading 5 texts a week, that is 1 unit a week, then these emails come just when you're ready for the next unit. If you're reading fewer than that, and one of the things we've recommended is that if you read 2 a week, you'll finish the program in a year, which is a great pace. Well, then these videos are going to come much faster than you're going to find your reading being accomplished. So just hold them until you're ready for that next unit to begin. Now, if you're reading faster than that, if you just can't stop, and you're reading 7 or 8 or 9 texts a week, which is great, go for it. Well, then I would say use these videos as they come to kind of remind yourself of where you've been and to consolidate that material. Hopefully they'll be useful any way you look at it. Now, this unit 13, is devoted to Jesus' miracles. And these are just really amazing narratives that we're reading, amazing accounts. So I want to point out some things that you're going to see in these. First of all, they deliberately echo portions of the Old Testament in many cases. When Jesus feeds the 5,000 in the wilderness, well, that story echoes the way that God gave Israel manna in the wilderness during the Exodus with Moses. And it's something that reminds us that Jesus is the one that Moses spoke of back in Deuteronomy, that God would send what he called a prophet like me. That is a prophet like Moses. And as another example, when Jesus heals the blind man, it echoes God giving light to the world in creation. So look for Old Testament echoes. Notice the way that Jesus' miracles support his claim to be divine. Jesus, unlike other miracle workers, even in the Bible, never prays or ask for help in connection with his miracles. Jesus does pray, but he doesn't say, God, do a miracle for me. And he doesn't do what Peter does in the book of Acts, or Paul, who say, in the name of Jesus, stand up and walk, for example. He always acts on his own authority. In the one instance he does pray at the tomb of Lazarus, he's not praying for power to overcome death. He's praying for God to glorify himself, and then he commands Lazarus to come forth. Now, there's other things that are going on too. For example, when Jesus stills the storm, this echoes the 107th Psalm that tells us that God stills the storm for his people when they are in that dangerous situation. Now, some of the details of these stories are deliberately left in to help us kind of understand things if we belong to the culture of the time, which is always the thing we have to overcome. So, for example, when the demon-possessed man, the demons speak through him and say, my name is Legion. Well, that word legion would stand out to people because it was actually a Latin word, not the Greek of the New Testament, but a Latin word that they were accustomed to using for the Roman legions who occupied their country. Well, what Jesus is subtly pointing out here is that the real occupying force, the real thing that makes the land unclean, it's not Gentile peoples or their pigs that are over here. It's not the Roman occupation. It's the devil. And we're all subject to that kind of influence. Okay, now as you're reading this, I want you to think about something else. Because when we go into the next unit, Unit 14, you're going to see Jesus not perform a miracle when it looks like it would be really beneficial for him to do so. But there's going to be a reason for that. So enjoy the miracle stories in this Unit 13.